if you had $1 million, what would you do? But you cannot keep it for yourself, so you had to spend it. What would you spend it on? Welcome to the Alejandro Velasquez Show. This is the Alejandro Velasquez Show, where we talk about gaming, entrepreneurship, and family. Welcome to the Alejandro Velasquez Show. In this show, we talk about gaming, entrepreneurship, and family. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about how young hustlers can make money at a young age. And today, we got my co-host, my dad, and two young entrepreneurs, Eric and Jonathan. How you guys doing?
Doing
Welcome
good.
to the show, guys.
Good.
Welcome to the show. Young hustlers.
It's an honor to be here.
Imani and J-Rock. Love it.
Yep.
So full disclosure, who are these kids?
These are my cousins, by the way. Just full disclosure.
We've known them ever since they were little babies.
Yep.
Little babies. Now they're blowing up. So we're gonna talk about the hustle. We want to talk about the hustle. So what do they do?
So, I don't know if you guys want to talk or I'll touch a little bit upon it, but Jonathan recently got into stocks and Eric does a lot of flipping sneakers. So you guys could touch upon it, but...
Well, see, J-Rock came to me the other day. We were hanging around the house. And
we had a pool party.
J-Rock came to me and says, hey, man, I seen your profile on Instagram. It says you're an investor. Right?
Yep.
And then you're like, okay, what do you invest in? I said, well, I invest in different things. And then he started hitting me up. I said, hey, I have a business opportunity for you.
Yeah, it was more like a pitch. It was like, hey,
He was pitching me, right? He was pitching me. So tell us, J-Rock, how'd you get involved in your hustle? And what's your hustle? And how'd you get involved at a young age on doing what you do?
Well, my dad, he basically told me about it, and it seemed interesting to me. So from there, I just took off. You know, it's fun, it's enjoyable. You know, it's just it takes time to do the research, read articles, look at the profile, the financial statements, stuff like that.
So what do you trade? So you're a day trader? Tell us what you do exactly.
Well, I like to be more like a day trader. Yeah, I like to invest in penny stocks, some people call it, and, you know, flip it so I can get a quick profit. And sometimes I invest long term too. I do a little of both.
Damn, really know what you're talking about. I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. I was like, what is going on here? I got certain expertise, not in this area. No stocks over here. I think I got a little bit into stocks, but never knew the
You have stocks. I have stocks. You don't have stocks. I just tell you the stuff that I buy,
yeah,
but you
I
have no
don't
stocks.
I don't got none of that.
You have some money in your pillow for your tooth
Probably.
fairy, but you.
Probably.
So then you got into stocks. What was the first app you downloaded? Well, what did you so your dad started telling you about, you know, the stocks options.
Yep.
So what was the app that you downloaded? What was the first steps that you took? So for the young kids that are listening to this, they might get some ideas. I said, hey, I want to be a day trader, but you know, when you came to me, I was shocked because in my mind, a day trader, you have to go to school, you have to study financials, you have to do all these things before you actually
and especially
start.
you're a young age, you're like, what is this kid saying? You know, how does this kid even know? So like, how'd you learn all the information? You know, become so knowledgeable of stocks.
Well, at first I relied on YouTube a lot, and then I started to go on by myself. A reliable source I used was Yahoo Finance. It gives me like all the information I need based on the company. And from there on out, like I just read more articles about it, learned more about it. I'm basically self-taught.
It's awesome, man. That's awesome. And you and I had a conversation like how that Google is the new school.
Definitely.
YouTube is the new school.
Literally every time you're like, we always had a question, like Google it. And then now we don't have internet, so it's like, oh, you can't Google it.
Yeah, right now what happened
through a little,
this past couple of
tornado.
days?
Tropical storm.
A hurricane hit a house.
Something like that, yeah.
The tree fell down.
All I know is it
knocked
hit
out all
hard.
the power, no internet.
No,
We're pretty much
now it's like
disconnected.
now it's like, okay, what do we use? I remember we played like board games. We're like, what are we even doing?
That board game lasted for about 30 minutes.
15?
Yeah,
Yeah,
for 30
15.
minutes. They were like, okay, we gotta get some internet.
Yeah,
But see now, when you start looking at school, like, man, Google, YouTube, man, you learn all that. You're self-taught.
Like, look,
Yeah.
Jonathan learned about stocks. School doesn't teach as much in detail about stocks at such a young age too. You probably learned
What are
that
you
in
talking about
college.
detail? The school doesn't teach anything. I mean, at the beginning, like,
I mean,
what grade are you in?
touch upon it.
What grade are you in?
I'm in 7th grade going to 8th right now.
7th grade and 8th
See,
grade.
back then,
When I was going to
definitely
7th, 8th grade, they were not teaching anything about that. We were just adding and subtracting.
Facts.
I mean, 7th, 8th grade, add, subtracted, probably some multiplications some days. I don't know what. We have an app there's a calculator right now.
Yeah,
does all the
that's-
add and
that's
subtract it.
Really, so we
So,
need.
but what do you use? So you use that. What app do you use to trade?
I use Yahoo Finance to look at a company. I use a stock screener. So whenever I need to like find some new picks, I use that, and it divides the stock into sections. So you can look at hot penny stocks. You can look at the PE ratio. You can look at dividend payments. You can look at all that stuff. You can look at energy sectors because each stock is in a different sector. You have the energy sector, the oil sector. You have business. You have food, stuff like that.
It's awesome,
Nice.
man. Like, look,
It's
man, you it
crazy.
sounds like you really love it, man. It sounds like you're really into it.
Yeah.
What books have you read? Read any books? Have you who do you follow to get this type of information? Just Yahoo Finance.
No, not just that. I like to watch the news a lot. You know, because they're actual professionals like Wall Street, books like that, financial books.
So
No,
what's the
that's-
pitch? You know, so share with the audience. Like if a kid right now is listening to you right now, what do you suggest? How do you come to your parents? Because you have to go with your parents, right? First, like
Yeah.
to get some seed money, some family, right?
Mhm.
Start the hustle. I mean, similar to what you did. Is like, you know,
Yeah.
start to get some seed money from me. My investment is solid. I
So
invest. I
far.
invest in people, so my investment is solid.
Yeah.
So how did you?
I mean, tell you how do you talk to my dad and how did you try to get some investment?
I guess my pitch would be that I'd come to my client, I guess you could say,
Yeah.
and I'd tell them, I'd like to help with your financial aid. I'd like to give you financial aid and, go invest your money into stocks. And if it comes out successful, you can give me a part of that, a certain percentage, and that's how we can do business.
Yeah.
It's
seems
awesome.
solid. Seems
So
solid.
also, so how do you like have people laugh at you? Like kids laugh at you? Like how do you? Because obviously when you come to an adult and you're asking them for money to invest with you, I'm pretty sure adults laugh or they say, oh, how cute, this kid. How do you fight that stigma? Like, man, you're too young. What do you know about stocks? What do you know about making me money?
Well, I mean, I just take it in, and I mean, I just use it as a fuel. Like, I'm gonna go and prove you wrong.
Yeah.
It's motivation for me because I can go out there and show the world something that they've probably never seen. So it's a great thing. It's a great opportunity.
Yeah, and it's definitely like you're saying, like, oh, this kid can't do it, and then when you do it, it's almost like you get 10 times more respect. You know what I'm saying? This kid is so young, and he did it. So it's like, I'm definitely going to invest now. If this kid can do it this young, I want to see how he can do it in, like, 10 years. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what I always tell you. Like, sometimes the biggest motivator is people not believing in you.
Yeah.
Like we were just talking over the weekend how like when I was your age, I was getting bullied.
Yeah.
And that was my motivator to actually succeed. That was my motivator. When I came to this country, they didn't know how to speak English, and people were making fun of me. And that was my motivator. But I was getting beat up, and I learned how to speak English. Until now, I'm still learning how to speak English.
Still learning. Yep. Still some words that you
So
don't
you
know.
correct me, but I get up there. I still have my Google Translator here. All right, Google Translator. All right, so E-Money, Eric.
Eric, how you doing today, my
Doing
friend?
good.
So, Eric, you could touch upon more about this, but I just want to like set the framework. He does more of sneakers, and you've been doing this for a really long time too. I know
Yeah, almost
you've been
2
liking
years.
it. Yeah. 2 years, and how old are you?
14.
Nice. So yeah, you've been doing this for quite a while, and I remember you used to you really like it now. I know that, but before it was almost like a little hobby. You know what I'm saying? It was almost like you like to
Yeah.
do it, but now you know what you're doing now. You know what I'm saying?
Now I know the difference between a shoe that I could sell and a shoe
Yeah.
that won't sell.
So
for
I'll
as
tell the
much.
audience, what do you do and how'd you start doing it?
I flip shoes, so that means buying a shoe for a certain price and selling it again. It's not as hard as some people might think, but it's really hard to learn it sometimes. So for example, if you see a shoe that you think that looks cool, you have to do research on it, obviously. Like, you don't know if a lot of people are going to buy it. You don't know how much are available. So a lot of times if there's a shoe that's only 10,000 pairs available, that's low. So that shoe actually might sell more than other shoes that have 50,000 pairs available.
Yeah.
So there's a difference between a good shoe to buy and sell and a bad shoe. And sometimes you got to take a risk. If you don't know which one you want to do, if you want to buy it and sell, or you just want to sit back and just let it happen because you don't want to waste your money and have it fail, it's always a risk. So you get to pick.
So you're flipping shoes. So you're buying
Yeah.
the shoes, and then where do you buy the shoes? I mean, you go to Foot Locker I get the shoes.
Foot Locker, there's the apps. So like the Nike sneakers app, a lot of shoes that they sell goes there. Adidas, where the Yeezys go, but I'm not really into Yeezys as much as I used to be.
Yeah, I know you used to buy a lot of Yeezys back then.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
could-
always like I think the cool thing about sneakers is like the trend always is moving. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like-
some people like it some days, some people like it. You know, in 10 months.
But
so-
how do you make money on sneakers? So help me understand, because that's, you know, you and I have several conversations. Like you buy them on a
the release.
website.
So
Oh, no, the release. You buy
yeah,
the
so
release.
I buy them on
B-
the release. So say their normal price that they get, because they're the official retailer, so they have to sell at like a good price. So say 160 is the average price for a pair of Jordans that look pretty good. 160. If that shoe is nice, it doesn't have a lot of stock. If it's
It's a limited
it stands
editions.
out.
It's a limited edition. Like they only make a
Sometimes,
certain
yeah.
type of number
so
of
sometimes
shoes.
they'll collab. For example, they'll collab with like Undefeated, or they'll collab with Fear of God. Like all those companies, if they collab with them, that could make the price skyrocket. So, like, A shoe recently dropped, the Dior and Air Jordans.
yeah.
That shoe it cost $2,000 just to buy it from the official retailer.
So they
now-
shell-
yeah.
selling this shoe for $2,000.
$2,000.
Yeah, and now the shoe is worth $10,000 because there's only I think under 10,000 pairs. So
Wow.
So how did you get the shoe? So you have to be in a waiting list to get the shoe. You have to be
Yeah,
the first
so
one to
you could
hit
be
the app.
it could be raffles. It could be waiting in line at a store. So there's a whole bunch of things that could go down.
So if you would have gotten that shoe at 2,000, you could immediately would have flipped it for 10,000.
yeah, it was.
And what's
a-
the websites that you flip the shoes in? Where do you go to flip? Like if you have a shoe
there's-
right now,
yeah.
if you had that shoe in style, you bought it, where will you flip it? What's the website you will flip it on?
I'll flip it on Go, StockX, SneakerCon website. You could go to SneakerCon. It's like a big event where all these people go and sell and trade shoes.
Nice.
If there's a store around you that is selling shoes, and you could sell it to them if they accept it. So there's a whole bunch of ways you can sell a shoe, even on eBay, Facebook Marketplace. But the problem with buying it and selling off of places like Facebook Marketplace and eBay is because Go and StockX, you send the shoe in and they'll check the shoe. They'll make sure it's real, it's authentic. eBay,
StockX will do it,
yeah, eBay and Facebook Marketplace, it's more of like a meetup and mail, like directly to you. It's not stopping anywhere.
So have you
Nobody's
gotten ripped
checking
off
it.
before? Have you got like you actually send the shoe and then the
No, I make sure I don't buy it. I always buy my shoes off of either Go or StockX because I want to make sure that they're real. Like I don't want to buy something and
Yeah,
then get my
imagine
money.
you buy a $2,000 shoe and then it comes a rock.
you get,
in
you
the
get a
box.
brick.
Yeah,
exactly.
You get a
And
brick.
it's
man.
happened a lot. Like it's really happened a lot. Like I've seen people it happen to them, and people are mad about it, and it's a real problem that people, really lie and they'll get your money from you like that.
Especially with kids. I
Yeah.
mean, do they know how old you are? Like when you're dealing these
Yeah, like-
transactions, do they they tell
Yeah.
you how old you are and do they get to see you when you have these transactions? Because
Yeah,
I'm
so,
pretty sure
for
they
example,
want to take
There could
advantage of kids.
there could be a person your age selling a pair of fake shoes, and a person like my age doesn't know anything about shoes, but he thinks they're cool because everybody's trying to get them or something. He'll immediately think that you're legit, like you actually have them. But over time, you begin to learn that it's really hard to get your hand on these shoes, and if it looks too good to be true, it probably is too good.
So what was the first shoe that you flipped? What was the first deal that you made?
It was one of my first pairs. This was like before I even started into the business. I got good grades, and my dad, he bought me a pair of white Yeezys, and I didn't know anything about it. I just knew that this shoe, a lot of people want them because they're Yeezys. A lot
Yeah.
of people here, if you go to school in middle school, if somebody's wearing a pair of Yeezys, everybody's like, "Oh, he got Yeezys, right?"
Yeah.
So I didn't know, so I wore them, and everybody was going like, "Oh my god, they're expensive. They're really expensive, and but they're nice." And I wore them. I messed them up a little bit. They're white. They were yellow by the time I was done with them. So I decided that I could sell them because I was gonna either throw it out or just keep it because I was growing. So
And this is before you even knew anything about the business.
Yeah.
So you didn't know anything. Just your dad just said, "Hey, here's a pair of Yeezys. You got it." And then people started like complimenting you on
Yeah.
the sneakers.
So my friend, he was pretty big into it. He was like, you could sell those, right? And I didn't know at the time, so I started looking it up. I started teaching myself about it. I asked my dad, and he knew about it too, and he helped me, and I sold it, and I got it for free basically. And I actually sold it for I think it was about $250. So that was some quick money.
So that was a seed money. So then what'd you do with the 250? What's the next sneaker that you bought?
With 250, I bought. My dad had another pair of Yeezys and he didn't want them anymore. And at the time, I was growing and I was already his size of shoe. So he gave me a good price since I was his son, and he gave
So
me.
you
a
bought
shoe.
him off your dad.
I bought him off
I was gonna
of him.
say, because I know your dad, man. Your dad's a
Yeah,
hustler, so
yeah.
he's like, he's not giving you nothing for free. He giving you
Yeah.
one pair of Yeezys for free. Now the
Yeah.
next one, you
So
have
the
to buy
next
it.
one, yeah, I bought it off of him. I wore it to school, and then during the summer, 8th grade was gonna start, so I sold them because I wanted to save up some money for a really nice pair of shoes. And yeah, I mean that's how it works.
So you started flipping it. And so,
Yeah.
what's the most expensive shoe that you flipped, and how much money have you made, like on the transaction?
Well, the most expensive shoe I flipped is probably the Jordan 1 Obsidian. Like this blue shoe. I could have made a lot more money than I did, but I sold them at the wrong time. And that's the problem about reselling shoes, is that you gotta either wait or sell it right there. Because if you wait too long, the shoe would drop. If you wait enough time, like if you're lucky, the shoe will like go skyrocket. And that's what the shoe is doing right now. That's what I've been noticing. I've been watching it because I I don't know. I'm just like really mad that I sold it at that time.
Yeah.
So.
But
But yeah,
did you make some money?
yeah, I
selling
made
it?
some money. I bought it for 160, and I sold it for 250.
Oh, that's a great flip,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
You made some money.
At the time, I was like, damn, like that was good. Like I wasn't
Yeah.
I wasn't having that was like one of my first ever serious pairs of shoes that I wouldn't wear. That I would just sell right when I get them. Yeah.
So what would you tell, when a kid is listening to this, like they want to start flipping shoes, where would they start?
Definitely research. If you don't know what you're doing, you could definitely lose a lot of money. And if you do know, you can make a lot of money. Like I see a lot of people making a lot of money from it. I could tell sneakers are like the next big thing. Like, it's an everyday thing. It's like clothes,
Yeah,
you have to
wear it
wear
all the
sneakers.
time. Yeah.
And so whoever has these kids these days go to school and everybody wants new sneakers, and sneakers are getting more expensive, definitely. So yeah, if you're trying to get started, definitely do research because you don't want to get ripped off or anything, and you want to make sure you get it right because if you buy a shoe, for example, expensive shoe, for let's say $300, that shoe could drop to $200,
Yeah,
and then you lose money.
Yeah.
And it's happened to people before. There's like a lot of times people be like, yeah, the shoe's gonna do so good. You buy the shoe and the shoe goes under retail. That
Yeah,
means
has to be
under
the
how
worst.
much the shoe normally
Wow,
would
and then you lose
go
money.
for.
So,
You
I mean,
lose money, yeah.
And that happens. you know?
Happens. I mean, it's life, man. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
Yeah. So I mean, if that happened to me, I would sell right there because I think from there on it would just keep going down.
Yeah,
because
it's almost like a 50-50 because the shoe you
Yeah.
had, you made profit. You could have made profit more, but now if it didn't go the way you wanted to, you probably would have lost money. And apparently that was your first one, so you probably would have been a little more demotivated.
yeah.
I think that's important to say. You hit a point like when kids start to create a business, right? And you have a win, it's easy for you to get motivated to do another
Yeah.
deal, right? But it's when you lose money,
Yeah, it's like, imagine
is
the
when you start
first
getting
you
demotivated.
got.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, losing money definitely in the sneaker business, it can cost you a lot. Like there's shoes that would go for $500 and you'll buy it and then they'll just drop. Like it could happen at any time. Like the shoe that I sold, the Jordan 1, sold it for $250 and now it's almost $600. So like
Wow.
So you would hold on to it, you would have
Yeah.
made more money.
if I hold on to it, I would have made a lot more money.
Yeah. But like
And-
imagine all the time you looked at the app or whatever you're looking at and it's just like $50, you know what I'm saying? And then out of nowhere, it skyrocketed to 600 and it's like you kind of are like, oh, this is a waste of a shoe, but and then when you get that win, it feels so good.
Yeah.
But then like the loss must be the worst thing ever because you already bought it, there's no refund, none of
Yeah,
that.
especially since like a lot of kids these days, they're not gonna have $10,000 in their bank account just like that,
Exactly.
Yeah, they have to start
So-
with a
Yeah, start-
100.
Yeah,
you start
so
with
if
50.
you have, for example, $500 and you buy a $200 shoe and it goes down, you lost
Yeah.
$200. That means that you lost quite a good amount of money. So it could scare a lot of people.
And definitely, like one thing I really liked what you said is like the research. Like the first thing you can't go in there, a chicken without a head. You gotta go there and you know what you're doing.
Yeah,
'Cause
ask
if not, you
friends.
lose
Like if
money.
there's a lot of kids these days that do it, so ask friends, go online and search these people up. Like there's people out there that are really doing this for real, like serious, like they live off of this.
Yeah.
And it's like it's really big, and you might be like, oh, I got the shoe, now how should I advertise it? Like how am I going to be able to sell it? post it on Instagram. You know, show it to your friends. Like message your friends' friends. You know, your family.
I was gonna say that. How are you marketing this? Because
Yeah.
that's the thing. I see you in Instagram, and you hustle on Instagram. You kind
Yeah.
of like you DM people. You're posting in the stories, and that's
Yeah.
is marketing.
I feel
Yeah.
like marketing on the shoe is like the most important thing because like the collabs and all that. Because I know Abby, she wanted to get like these shoes. She didn't know any of the prices. She doesn't know nothing about shoes, just like the appearance. The one she wanted to get was $500.
I says no way I'm paying $500
I
for
was
shoes.
like,
I'm
what?
not paying $500.
But then Eric's like, oh no, those are actually really expensive. They're limited time and stuff. Like he knows what they're doing, so it's almost like you have to know the value.
So
of
if
the
she
shoe.
buys a $500 pair of sneakers and she outgrows them, you could sell them later on.
Yeah, but the problem with buying a new pair of shoes at that price, especially since you're not going to be keeping them and you might want to sell them after you wear them, the best you could do is not wear them as much. You know, keep them clean. Like, you know, take care of the shoe, because no matter what, once you put those shoes on, $50 goes down on the shoe. $50
Yeah.
lost. The more you wear it, $100 down. And you post it online, and these people, they'll see the shoe and they'll offer, so they'll see how much they want it, like how much is it they see as it worth.
Yeah.
You know? So like $500, later on you might be just able to sell it for $250.
And people love to see like not used shoe like that. Like for me
Yeah.
too. Like when I see shoes, I want to make sure no one else is wearing that because there's like the pride of having the shoe first. So
yeah,
it's something.
Yeah, I mean, like if you bought, so like if you're a sneakerhead, you'll probably see that shoe a lot online since it's almost $500. That's a quite expensive shoe for a kid. You'll know a shoe like when you see it.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you'll be like, damn, that's an expensive shoe. So
Of
like
course.
for example, you know, I always, whenever I'm gonna go buy a new pair of shoes, I make sure I buy it like either used or at least looks brand new. Because
Yeah.
once I buy brand new, there's like almost no point. It just drops down in price. It's like,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
How you avoid not messing up the shoe? Because I remember when I was in Ecuador, my mom, and my dad came to the United States, and they sent me a brand new pair of Nikes right to
Okay.
Ecuador. I remember were white Nikes, and I wore them. And the first weekend that I took them out, I was kicking a ball, and then for some reason there was a can in there, and I decided to kick the can, and it was an oil can. And it was black oil all in my sneakers, man. I don't know, I was 8 years old, and I was crying. And like my mom,
Yeah.
sent me the sneakers. How do you avoid? And those are probably like $20-$30 sneakers. I could just imagine you walking around with $500 sneakers. You
Oh,
probably have to wear
Yeah.
like plastic around them. I don't know, like saran wrap them. Like
Like
how do you avoid not
yeah.
getting them dirty? Like what do you do?
There's a whole bunch of ways. There's companies now that make sprays.
Yeah.
Like, so if water or oil or any of that liquid gets on it, it slips right off. It doesn't stick. It
Yeah.
doesn't, sink in.
So it's a system. You have to
Yeah.
have some
You
kind
could
of
buy
protection.
like a $50 little case. It's like called Crepe. There's a whole bunch of companies that make it. It's a scrub, a special soap, so it doesn't mess up the shoes, but it cleans them. It gets it good.
Nice.
You could throw it in the washing machine. That's what I did for the white shoes that I first got. They were yellow. I threw them in the washing machine. They came out nice white, and I sold them for
Yeah.
more than I probably.
Definitely the appearance
yeah.
is like everything, like the picture, all of that is like marketing and like appearance of the shoe is definitely like really
Quality.
important.
Yeah, it has to be.
It's like
has to be-
eye catching.
has to be kept really good.
Yeah.
It has some
Yeah.
value.
I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that tie into it. A lot of money, and if you're trying to get started, start small. Don't go for the biggest shoe. Like if you're starting small, you see an $80 shoe, you can sell that for $100. You don't want to like think, oh, I gotta start at 160 and go to 500.
Yeah.
Like it's not. It works like that sometimes, but most of the time it's really hard to get
Yeah,
that.
you gotta
Yeah,
do
start
base hits.
small.
Yeah.
You
could go to these stores that people are donating to. So
Oh, that's a good
like
strategy.
Goodwill, Ross, all these places that have shoes like that people bring in and give, or stuff like that. You'll find this basketball shoe, $20. Go online. Oh wow, it's $50. Sell that.
That's
So-
awesome. So that's a strategy. So
Yeah.
somebody listening to that could use that strategy, buy in thrift shops, Goodwill, anything out there to flip the shoe.
yeah.
Mhm.
All right. So Jonathan, what about you? What's the biggest stock that you bought? How much have you lost, and how much have you made? What are the wins and the losses?
Well, I think like it's a mixture of both. Like I think I've had wins, I think I've had losses. I think the biggest stock I've ever bought was the SPF and 500 ETF. Basically, that's like a mutual fund. So, what it did, it was putting my money towards like the top 500 companies in that, and that was like $32, and I decided to buy like I think like 5, and it came out to like 150 total. That was probably the biggest
Wow.
one I've bought, and I think there I made like $2. So I think that was a ridiculous. But I think my best win had to be T2 Biosystems. So basically, this is like a medicine company, and I found it for like 72 cents. I bought 100 because it was gonna be a total of what, $72 for 100 stocks, and it went up to about like I think we sold it at like $1.60. So we made a
Nice.
good
Wow.
profit. That was like a $45 profit that we made, and with all the
Nice.
other stocks that
So
I
you
had,
bought at what? 76 cents?
72 cents,
72 cents, and you sold at what? How much?
like $1.60 around there.
Wow.
That's a great profit.
Great
That's a
Yeah.
great profit.
That was a great profit. Yeah,
So if you had more money, you would have thrown into it. You would have probably made a lot more.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing though, like with stocks, that you can start off like at a cheap price, and if you see it going, then you can decide to either invest more or just to sell it right there, because like Eric said, like there's a risk, like because if you hold on too long, it might go down. So it's a 50-50 chance. It could go up even more, or it could go down.
So how did you find the stock? What was the research? Like, how did you come up to the stock that you knew that it was gonna come up?
Well, actually, that was basically my first investment. So what I did was I searched it up on Google. I was like the best penny stock, and I found out that company. And then
Wow.
what I did from there is that I researched it on Yahoo Finance. Yahoo Finance. So what you do is like you look at the numbers, like you look at indicators that could be good, like the estimate price at the end of the year. So the estimate price was actually $5. So from there, that was a good hint of like it could be a good profit. You could look at like P ratio, price to earnings, how much people are willing to pay, and based on that you can go based on the actual price. So if it's higher, then you can see that people are willing to pay more than for what it's actually worth, and all of that is good. So it was a good indicator. It was a good find for me. Yeah.
First question is, if you guys would be mentored by an athlete, a businessman, or celebrity, who would it be and why?
I think I would be mentored by Steve Jobs, because I believe that his company started off in his basement, and I think that at first people took like him as a joke, like didn't believe in him. So like I think that was like so great of an achievement that he didn't listen to him, and he still focused, and he came out successful as a person in business and stuff like that.
You
Yeah, I
changed the
believe-
game, man. You
yeah,
changed the
yeah,
game. Look,
changed the game.
everybody has an Apple
Yeah.
phone. Everybody
Yeah.
I think Apple is one of the most successful companies
Yeah.
in the world right now.
And I think it wasn't even like supposed to be like that. It was just him and his best friend, I believe,
Yeah.
in his basement and just vibing and doing whatever he was doing.
Doing what they love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
doing
really
what they
love being innovative. I think that's one of the things. If one thing you take out of this as a young hustler is just do what you love, man. That's what I love hearing you talk about stocks and finance, because not a lot of kids, give this a permission to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
Like you love that right now. Double down on it. Don't let your age be a reason why you stop doing what you're doing. Let your age be the reason why you're motivated to continue to move forward. Don't let the haters tell you you're too young or you don't know what you're doing. You self-taught, man. You keep hustling, man. Keep hustling. Keep looking for people who believe in you.
I will.
Yep.
Uh,
Alright, so who's the person you'd be mentored by?
Michael Jordan.
Michael
Oh,
Jordan?
that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah.
That was good.
Look at why do you choose Michael Jordan?
I would pick Michael Jordan because he always had that drive in him. He never quit. He was always wanted to be that best player. He would walk into a room and everybody know it was him. They would feel that like mood. Honestly, I would be scared. It's like the legend himself.
Yeah.
Did you watch the documentary?
Yeah, it was good. It was really
Yeah.
good.
And ESPN?
Really good.
I learned a lot. It was a lot of stuff that a lot of people didn't know that was brought out in the documentary.
And you read the book I gave you last summer too.
Yeah,
And that was Michael Jordan's coach.
yeah.
Oh my
Who trained him, and the work ethic that Michael Jordan has is, man, that guy
Incredible,
is
yeah.
incredible, and that's why he's the greatest.
Yeah, I mean,
Truly.
sometimes it's hard for me to get out of bed and just go and work out, and I mean that probably is for everybody too sometimes. But I mean,
Yeah.
Michael Jordan, I could tell that he just pushed through. He did it every single day. He was always there early. He was there late.
Yeah, his
And,
work ethic is crazy. Like
Yeah.
it's something that probably took years, but his parents are probably really good at it.
And one thing that I like about it is that in that documentary, it shows that he didn't care what people thought. He went into the court and he owned the court and he owned the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the things, that a lot of people in the business world, they want to play nice. And some advice for both of you, like the entrepreneurship sometimes, is a cutthroat business. You learn in finance, like people wanna steal your ideas, or they want to do certain things. Same thing in the sneaker business. You see, people have bad intentions. But if you own who you are, man, don't let those people take away from your dreams, because that's what Michael Jordan didn't do. That like what he did is he didn't care what other people thought. He went there to win, and he mastered his craft. It was him against him. He says that it's me against me every single time. He's playing the game, and the number one opponent is him. Love that. Second question. What's the second question?
Second question is, if you had $1 million, what would you do? But you cannot keep it for yourself, so you had to spend it. What would you spend it on? Or you could give it.
Well, you can't spend it on yourself. So the question is, you
Yeah.
can't spend it on yourself. You have to give it out. You have to use it doing something. But you can't give it to your family. You can't spend it to yourself. It's $1 million. What will you do with it?
You want to go first?
That's a hard one,
That's a
right?
hard one.
Definitely.
You can't buy sneakers. You can't flip sneakers. $1 million, but you have to get rid of it. What will you do with it?
Definitely help other people trying to get into sneakers, trying to get into stocks. There's a lot of people that try and get into those stuff, and a big reason why people can't start is because they don't have that money. The money that that extra $100 that you might need to get that one sneaker, so you could start your business. A lot of people might not have that, so definitely look into that to give out to those that might need that.
So you give it out and to somebody who wants to start a hustle.
Yeah, and
That's awesome. That's awesome,
help
right?
people get to their dreams.
Yeah, and I think that's what
So
we need.
cool.
We need more entrepreneurs stepping into the game that are willing to give back. And the
Yeah.
idea that a lot of entrepreneurs have is that once I make it, once I'm a billionaire, then I'm gonna give back. But the reality is, listen, you could
You
give
can
back as
right now.
like right now. Both of you are giving back. Both of you. There's a kid out there I know, or a parent out there listen to this podcast, saying, "Man, like I want to help my young hustler like get to the next level. I want to help my son, my daughter." You guys are giving back just by sharing your experience.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I think I'd say the same thing. I know I'd help others in need. I'd help them.
But
give
where?
them-
Where specific? Because I know you have a background. Like where specific? Where will you go? I already know that you probably will go somewhere. Where will you go to give this money?
I think I would go to Africa. Actually, I mean, I'd help
I
them.
thought you would say Colombia, because I know you love the arepas. You go back to Colombia because your mom is from Colombia, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of. Have you watched the Netflix? You're probably too young to watch on Netflix, but the El Ganador documentary from Nicky Jam. You know who Nicky Jam is?
Yeah, I know.
So he lost his drive. He lost his edge
Mhm.
in Puerto Rico because he was into drugs and
Yeah.
alcohol. But he went
Yeah.
to Medellin. He went to Colombia, and the love of the people kind of got him back into the game.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't go to Colombia to give the
No.
$1 million goes a long way in Colombia.
I would go to
To
Africa.
It probably goes more longer way in Africa.
I would help like build businesses, to give them job opportunities and more opportunities to be successful in our world today. Stuff like that, help out, buy clothes for everyone, give them, some great homes and some great jobs to give them opportunities.
It's awesome. And listen, man, you keep doing what you're doing. $1 million, it'd be nothing
Be there one
compared
day.
to.
You'll be there one
It's
day.
nothing
$1
compared to
million.
what you're gonna do, especially in the finance world. You'll be able to make it as sneakers too,
Yeah.
man. You're not going nowhere.
Nowadays,
Sneaker hustle's not going
I
nowhere.
think like this generation, this couple next years is probably gonna be like some of the easiest like years to make $1 million. Like for example, Charli D'Amelio, a couple of dance moves, and now she's like one of the most famous
Exactly.
like people out there. Like it's crazy.
She was a normal person too. She actually went to a school near us that we know. King.
Yeah,
She
No,
went to
King.
King.
and
Yeah.
Kings,
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, she's been around here. It's kind of
Definitely.
crazy.
So where's your inspiration? So I'll ask the last question is
Alright.
like what is like when you start looking at people or kids, doing it, what gets you out of bed when you don't want to get out of bed? What drives you? What's the thing that drives you that makes you want to continue the hustle?
The future, I don't want to really be working crazy hard in the future. You know, I want to work now so that later on I can rest. So later on I can enjoy like sunsets and stuff, you know, and you know go
Nice.
buy a nice house and enjoy a pool, you know. That's all I really wanted to do.
Setting
So
up for
right
the
now,
future. I like it.
you know, work hard do the next, you know, 10, 20, 30 years, and just, you know, dedicate myself and think about the future and how I can make it, you know, how I can
Nice.
shape my future. And you know, and that's what I, you know, a lot of people don't look into, you know. There's a lot of kids in school that, you know, go and fail and fail, and then don't think about the future. Like, you could be working your entire life, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to work my entire life when I'm 70, 60. I want to already be resting by then. So, you know, now I got to put the work in here.
Also, you want to put in the work now.
Yeah,
Put in the
I
work
like
now
it.
that you're young, that you have energy, that you have all
Yeah.
these ideas.
Yeah, I like it.
Awesome.
Stand for the future.
J-Rock,
I
what
think
drives you?
my drive is to be successful and to have a great future as well. I think that now that I'm starting out young, you know, I can have an edge to everyone else, you know, so I could be the one, you know, to be successful, to maybe have the next big company, you know, and have a better future, you know, be able to rest, you know, enjoy life, you know,
Starting
Probably.
young. Yeah.
see the sunset and relax, you know.
Both of you guys like sunsets, man. So a sunset.
Yeah.
It makes me want to go
He
watch the
gets it- he gets
sunset
it
now.
from me. He gets
It's
it- he
it's
gets it from
enjoyable,
me.
you know, buy a nice house, you know, have a wife and kids.
Nah, like, J-Rock is already putting out there, and wife and kids and a sunset. It's like, hit me up. The day trader. Love it, love it. All right, man. So listen, thank you for coming to
Thank
to
you
the
guys.
show.
Yeah, thank you.
It was a
It was,
pleasure.
it was an honor.
We learn a lot. I mean, I love just having these conversations. You know, every time
Yeah.
you and I have conversations all the time, and
All
we say
the
like we
time.
need to have a podcast because
I talk
know,
a lot, definitely.
it's all about really giving yourself the permission to dream, give yourself the permission to know that, listen, you're no different than the next successful kid out there. Like, you're no different than anybody else who's making money in the stock market. You're no different than anybody else who's making money in the sneaker market. And if you listen to this podcast, like, it doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter who you are. What matters is where you're going, because that's what I believe. Like, the best is yet to come.
Yeah,
Yep.
I like it. Thank you for watching the show. If you received any value, make sure to comment down below and DM me if you have any questions at The Real Alejandro V. Thank you for tuning into the show. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.